Hi, I'm sketching out the plan of what I want to make today. It's a little book nook with a tiny little cabin and a little scene. Let's see how we get on. So here I am in Nomad Sculpt. The cabin shape is actually pretty easy. It's just 2 squares for the slanted roof and a triangle for the front. And I also left some space for the windows. So here's my 3D modeling software. So I've just put it in and then I am separating the parts. So then that way everything can go flat and hopefully print without error. Now instead of painting the cabin pieces, I decided to create stickers in Procreate and just to add a little bit more detail to it. And here it is printing out. I'm just using a paint pen here to go along the edges so that it doesn't show up under the sticker. So the front's done, and here's the roofs, and now I've just got the little trim of the door frame and the windows to go. And now we can put it all together and see what the cabin looks like. And of course we've got to add Tiny Me. So this is the book nook that I'm going to be sacrificing, as I need its walls. It was at this point that I started wondering if I had done the right thing. But it was too late, so I just carried on. So what I did here is just remove the inside parts, as it was set up like a greenhouse before, and I just wanted a plain frame. I ended up painting it all with a couple of coats of brown paint. And here's the end result. You can't have a cabin without trees, right? So I jumped back into Nomad Sculpt and just designed some super simplistic trees. Basically just a whole bunch of circles. Printed those out in a few different heights and painted them all up. Now is the part that I was most worried about, and that's just designing the overall landscape. So I just layered a couple of rectangles and boxes on top of each other, and when I thought it was sort of what I was looking for, I just played around with the shape, smoothed it out, dragged it, just trying my best to see if I could make it look a little bit more natural. Making the balcony for the little cabin was pretty easy. It's just basically a square that I made and then just flattened to the right size. And I added in a little balcony and of course some little stairs, and off camera I also made some little railings and some little houses for up the top too. So here we go with the printing process. It actually took me about 7.5 hours to get this whole thing printed. The biggest thing that I've ever 3D printed, and I was a little bit worried about it, but it seemed okay. But as you can see, there was a little bit of trouble as I didn't flatten out the back before printing, and unfortunately it left me with this huge gap between the landscape and the back of the book nook. But I'll fix that later. So next I hit it with this bright green grass color. Most of my art is incredibly cartoony and not realistic at all, and so I kept with that same kind of scheme. Just to add a little bit more detail, I started painting in where the waterfall would go, and also some of the pathways. I had this idea that maybe adding hot glue would give it a really good water effect, and it did kind of work, I think. So the original Book Nook kit actually came with working lights, and so I thought, hey, let's try and incorporate that back in here too. So here's me with my fantastic wiring skills, just getting everything working again, hoping that it would still light up. And it did, yay! So it was accessory time. So I've gone around all the little details and I'm just painting in all of the wood. I used the same technique here by just printing stickers and applying that to here. And here's the fun part, putting all the details together. Here I am just adding some fake glass to the Book Nook just to keep the dust away from everything. To cover up those holes on the side, I've just printed some little tree decorations. And although that's not the ideal that I was going for, I think it still does the job. And now I'm adding tiny me into my new home, along with my cat Timmy, my cat Oscar, and my dog Milo. And now, time for some B-roll. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye.